In the late 19th century, the United States was changing faster than any nation in history. What had once been a rural country of farms and small towns was transforming into an industrial giant. Railroads cut across the land, factories rose above city streets, and millions of immigrants arrived searching for work and opportunity. At the center of this transformation was a small group of men whose wealth and power would redefine capitalism itself. They became America's first billionaires, and in doing so, they built the modern United States. One of the most influential was John D. Rockefeller. Born in 1839, Rockefeller entered the oil business at a time when the industry was unstable and poorly organized. Instead of drilling for oil, he focused on refining it. He believed control over processing and distribution was more important than owning the wells. Rockefeller built Standard Oil with relentless efficiency. He negotiated secret railroad discounts, bought out competitors, and drove prices so low that rivals could not survive. By the 1870s, Standard Oil controlled nearly 90% of oil refining in the United States. Oil became the lifeblood of American industry. It powered factories, lit homes, and fueled transportation. Rockefeller's system made energy cheaper and more reliable, accelerating economic growth across the country. By the time Standard Oil reached its peak, Rockefeller had accumulated the greatest personal fortune in modern history. But oil was only one pillar of America's rise. Another was steel. That empire belonged to Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie was born into poverty in Scotland and immigrated to the United States as a child. He worked long hours in factories and rail offices, studying how businesses operated. Carnegie believed steel would define the future. Railroads needed it. Bridges depended on it. Cities could not grow upward without it. Carnegie invested heavily in new technologies that reduced costs and increased production. His steel mills became models of efficiency. By controlling every step of the process, Carnegie Steel dominated the industry. In 1901, Carnegie sold his company to J.P. Morgan for $480 million, creating the largest industrial corporation the world had ever seen at the time. Carnegie walked away as one of the richest men alive. Steel reshaped America's skyline and infrastructure. Skyscrapers, railways, and factories all rose from Carnegie's vision. Behind oil and steel stood finance. That power was held by J.P. Morgan. Morgan did not build factories or drill wells. He controlled capital. In an era of economic instability, his influence shaped entire industries. He reorganized failing railroads, consolidated companies, and imposed order on chaotic markets. When financial panic struck in 1907, there was no central bank to stop the collapse. Morgan personally summoned bankers to his library and forced them to pool money to stabilize the economy. His actions prevented a national disaster. The crisis revealed something alarming. One private individual held more power than the government itself. The event directly contributed to the creation of the Federal Reserve System, ensuring that no single man would ever again control the nation's financial survival. Then there was Cornelius Vanderbilt, the master of transportation. Vanderbilt began with steamboats, undercutting competitors until he dominated major shipping routes. Later, he shifted his focus to railroads, recognizing that whoever controlled transportation controlled commerce. By consolidating rail lines, Vanderbilt connected cities, ports, and markets. Goods moved faster, costs dropped, trade expanded. Railroads turned the United States into a unified economic system rather than a collection of isolated regions. Together, these men controlled oil, steel, finance, and transportation, the foundation of industrial power. Their influence transformed daily life. Cities expanded rapidly, jobs multiplied. America's economy surged ahead of Europe. But this growth came with serious consequences. Factory workers endured long hours, dangerous conditions, and low pay. Child labor was common. Labor unions were crushed. Wealth accumulated at the top while millions lived in poverty. The era became known as the Gilded Age, outwardly prosperous, inwardly unequal. Critics labeled these men robber barons, accusing them of exploiting workers and manipulating markets. Supporters called them captains of industry, arguing they created jobs, infrastructure, and prosperity. The truth lay somewhere in between. Their methods were often ruthless, but their impact was undeniable. Public pressure eventually forced change. Antitrust laws were passed. Labor protections expanded. In 1911, Standard Oil was broken up by the government, yet by that point, the foundation of modern America had already been built. Railroads spanned the continent. Steel framed the cities, oil-powered industry. Banks financed global expansion. As they aged, many of these billionaires turned to philanthropy. Rockefeller funded medical research, universities, and public health programs. Carnegie believed the wealthy had a duty to give back and financed thousands of libraries, schools, and cultural institutions. They gave away vast portions of their fortunes, shaping education and science for generations. Their legacy remains complex. They built immense wealth through aggressive systems, but they also built the systems that turned the United States into an industrial superpower. Modern corporations, global finance, and American economic dominance all trace their roots back to this era. The United States did not rise by accident. It was built by ambition, risk, and power. The billionaires who built America changed the nation forever, and the world they created is still the one we live in today.